Hello again. Iron Banner is back this week, so we're going to cover the Iron Banner stuff first, and then we're going to get into all of the tower vendor roles like we usually do weekly. I'm not huge on fusion rifles, so I don't really know exactly what's the best thing to go for, but I've been told by word on the street by a lot of other fusion rifle mains that stability is a big deal, followed closely by range and impact for your fusion rifle. Charge rate isn't as crazy big of a deal as I initially thought it was. So having a brace frame with rangefinder is actually pretty awesome dealio for you. You also have perfect balance if you want the mag size that you say this high as it is for like PvE, I guess, or something. But you also have an enhanced battery, which combats brace frame. So you probably are good just going with the bottom row here. Is pretty good role as far as I understand for fusion rifles. But again, not a fusion rifle expert. Also, this isn't Saladin's Vigil. Go to Archon's Forge instead. What I do know about is literally every other gun. The scout rifle doesn't need Icarus that much because how often are you really jumping in the air shooting your scout rifle? Come on, man. You're not really going for clips here. You're looking for optimization in PvP. In PvE, Icarus is definitely not needed at all. Hidden Hand's alright. That'll do a job fair for you. It's not the most ideal perk you want to run with, but it's fine. High caliber rounds, the rate of fire isn't that fast, so high caliber rounds isn't a big deal. But full auto is just a lazy man's perk because it doesn't increase your fire rate. Unless it's on a shotgun. A shotgun's the only time it increases your fire rate. Everything else is just you're holding down the trigger instead of pulling it every time. So you might as well go high caliber rounds, boost that range a little bit, get the flinch, might as well. And then perfect balance is pretty nice for stability. Overall, though, I don't think this role is that great. I wouldn't really recommend buying it. You're probably better off getting another role for stability, range boosting, some kind of like, I don't know, other perks. Overall, the rolls are fine, but I don't really see a time that people would really use the distance star unless they have explosive rounds on it. Explosive rounds on scout rifles are insanely good, especially if they're not those 3-tap scout rifles for those long distance plays, such as the Cocytus or Cocytus, or however you want to say that thing. But other roll options you get on this, besides perfect balance, are not really that big of a deal. You can get brace frame, I guess, which is pretty cool. Otherwise, for the middle nodes, you can get snapshot, you can get explosive rounds, like I said, amazing perk. High caliber rounds is okay for that middle column here. For the last column, Hidden Hand's fine. You can also get Firefly, Crowd Control, Zen Moment, which I would probably take over Hidden Hand. Rangefinder is also an option, but on scout rifles, it's probably along the lines of Hidden Hand, if not worse than Hidden Hand for a scout rifle. You could also get life support, which would be insanely good. And overall, this isn't really a PvE scout rifle as far as my understanding of how the game works. You'd want to get one of those higher damage scout rifles for PvE. So you wouldn't really worry about triple tap and stuff like that for this scout rifle or Firefly either. As always, the gear provided by Lady Aphrodite is, if not a god roll, like perfect roll, whatever, for stats, it's at least very close. Helmets roll at 46-65 is highest for each stat. Class items are 25-35 for the highest. So as you can see, we have a perfect roll for class item, nearly a perfect roll for the other three. So class items, helmets available from the Aphrodite this week. It's going to be the same for Warlock and Titan, so I'm not even going to bother showing you for time's sake. So just, if you need a helmet or class item that's near perfect roll or perfect roll, look for Aphrodite this week. As far as the artifacts this week, you don't really need to worry about the stat roll for Felwinter. You're going to have tier 10 for Discipline, Strength 5 each. Intellect won't matter with the artifacts, so you're going to easily hit tier 10. So this is available. Scores is nerfed heavily, but still pretty nice in PvE. As far as stat rolls, I don't like the single stats, so I probably wouldn't worry about this. However, it's PvE. You don't really need to worry about stat rolls that much. Scores is only useful in PvE nowadays, in my opinion. Maybe in 6s and your team wants to be really gross and get one kill in a camp, and I don't know. I don't always see it in PvP. And then Perun, or Perun, however you want to say it, in regards to full supers and all enemies with low health are highlighted, you should just kind of know that. You can see the yellow bar flashing next to the level number. I always know if they have a super or not when I just look at them. And with their health or is low, there's a giant health bar, and you can have callouts from your team in case you didn't really know. So this artifact isn't really useful at all for me. It doesn't really apply to PvE, so I wouldn't worry about it myself. As per usual, I'm skipping the new marquee weapons because the weapons really aren't worth it. I'm just going to continue crying internally and hope that in Destiny 2 new marquee has something worthwhile and exists in the game. As for this week's palindrome, it has reinforced barrel, not rifle barrel. Automatically means it's not worth it whatsoever. It doesn't matter what the other perks are. If it doesn't have a rifle barrel, you're just going to have a slower time to get each shot landed because it's more time it takes to correct your shot on the next guy. You're just going to have less consistent shooting than the other guy with rifle barrel. And having perks like reactive reload and then Icarus, and Outlaw, even if it had hidden hand or rangefinder or whatever, it wouldn't matter. You'd have less consistent shots, so therefore you're more likely going to lose the exchange with the other guy unless you're just lucky on guessing where you're going to recorrect your shot for and just flick it just the right way. But that's a chance scenario, not guaranteed regularly. Curtain Call is pretty good, has knee pads, like I said before, is amazing because it doesn't have a Matador. Close interpersonal is a solid perk as well. Full auto, it's a full auto shotgun in this meta, way better than it was before special ammo went away. So if you have special ammo for this gun, you're going to have a really great time with full auto. Reinforced barrel boosts out range almost to max, but it doesn't have like smooth ballistics or field choke or whatever it is that boosts your range even more here. So it's not the best roll you can get for a current call because the range quite isn't there. But it's full auto anyway, so the range is trash anyway. So you don't really have to worry about that. It's still a solid curtain call. This week's Event Horizon has Taking Knee, which is a hype perk because once you ADS and you crouch down, it's a guaranteed accurate shot while crouching right in the dead middle of your screen. It calls for a lot of shenanigans and funny moments with crazy shots, but in a general sense, it's not that big of a perk because the only time this works is when you're crouching, and typically you're going to be standing while sniping. The only time this would really work in an actual like high-level PvP match would be like if you're slide sniping, but it's not that often you would be slide sniping anyway, plus special ammo nerfs that you don't really want to run sniper rifles that often. I don't know. It's not a big deal. I wouldn't worry about it. Short gaze and Taking Knee is kind of the only good perks on this gun anyway this week, so there's that. I would look past it. I kind of like this Keystone for PvE because there's Firefly, which is always nice in PvE, as well as Third Eye, because also a really big perk for me. When I use my Burning Eye, I use Third Eye on that because there's a lot of times you just hold down the ADS and just shoot for a very long time, and an enemy can just sneak up on you like a Supplicant in Vault of Glass or something like that. So I really enjoy using Third Eye. Firefly is very nice and convenient, and Quick Draw is very convenient as well. You can rapidly pull out your gun and start shooting from another gun, and you switch weapons pretty frequently in PvE content if you're trying to like optimize and stuff like that. So it's pretty nice 3 perks there for Keystone, which is a PvE weapon in my opinion anyway. Might not be the best because it doesn't have like boosted mag size. That's what I would take over Quick Draw probably, but it's still solid if you're looking for a PvE scout rifle. Once again, Unto Dust has Cluster Bomb, Field Scout, Spray and Play. I don't know how this gun gets, or rocket launchers to say, gets this kind of perk loadout so frequently. As I've discussed many times in the past, this is really good for Ultra Boss DPSing, for things like a Spider Tank, Cabal Tank, Axis himself, any other large Ultra Boss that generally doesn't move around a whole lot. This will do a lot of damage to them. Field Scout gives you even more ammo. Cluster Bomb does a lot of damage. Field Scout gives more ammo, and Spray and Play lets you reload really fast so you can keep on shooting rockets more often. So pretty awesome perk loadout if you're looking for a legendary rocket launcher in PvE. I think this week's Teacup Tempest is pretty freaking solid, considering its rangefinder, which is an amazing perk for sidearms. Almost said hand cannons. Casket Mag, which boosts your mag count, which is huge. Casket Mag is probably the biggest deal perk for sidearms right now, because it just increases the amount of rounds that you have in your mag when you spawn in, and that's the big deal for sidearms, is you have more rounds to work with than anybody else with a special weapon, because they probably don't have any, or 1 every 7 seconds for an icebreaker. It also has mulligan, so even if you miss some shots, you probably get some shots of those back into your mag, so you can keep on shooting. So rangefinder boosts the range for effective kill time, being even farther away from you. Casket Mag for starting with more mag size. Mulligan to try like give that cushion, safety net, so you can keep on shooting stuff. Has Sure Shot and True Sight for that aim assist sights. It's a pretty solid freaking Teacup Tempest for PvP this week. Warlord isn't a big deal this week. It has high caliber rounds, which is actually really nice, and hand loaded, which boosts the range, also nice. It has Sure Shot, which is very nice. The only problem is it's not all the perks being great, because reactive reload is kind of useless in this meta since you don't have a lot of reserve ammo. And by not a lot, I mean 0. So you don't have anything to reload into. So this perk almost always is going to be completely useless to you. So I probably will look past the Wormwood this week. If you need a sidearm for PvP, Teacup Tempest is going to be a lot better option. Moving on to armor pieces now. Starting with the Hunters at Future War Cult. The boots are fairly close. It's, was that 4 away from a perfect roll? So kind of close on those boots. The chest piece is like 5 away or something like that from perfect roll, because 86 is the highest. 86 for 61 would be the stat sides. The ghosts aren't a big deal. Nothing else is really that close. For Dead Orbit, the ghosts aren't a big deal, and the only thing close to be looking at would be the class item, Intellect Strength 2 away from a perfect roll, 35 each would be perfect. For Shax, the Ghost Shell is 35-34, so it's 1 away from perfect roll. Helmet is 2 away from perfect roll, but also look for helmets at FRD as well. And the gauntlets are 4 away from a perfect roll, which I'm also interested in these gauntlets though, because as grenade throw distance and hand cannon reload speed, hand cannons are like top of the meta for PvP, as like they basically always have been for the most part. And grenade throw distance is actually a really nice perk, especially if you're running stickies. It gives you like bonus tracking, it seems. So I look at this gauntlets pair for sure. Nothing else is really a big deal. Cade 6 stash is pretty trash this week. I wouldn't worry about it. New marquee coming in pretty big this week. Intellect Discipline, Perfect Roll, Ghost Shell. Pick that up if you need it. You're not going to get anything better. None of the gear from Shax this week is really worth looking at. None of the gear from Mikora Ray is a big deal. The helmet's close, 3 away, but again, Iron Banner. I'm sure the helmets are going to be way better than this one. Dead Orbit also seems not worth. Helmet kind of close, but Iron Banner. At the final stop for Warlock's Future War Cult, the bond is kind of close, 1 away each, but again, check Iron Banner Effort stash first. It's probably going to be a god roll. Final character for this week, Titan. Future War Cult's the first stop. Nothing is worth looking at. Gauntlets are kind of close, 4 away, like I was talking about for the Hunter. I'd still look at it because grenade throw distance and hand cannon reload speed. Definitely consider these gauntlets. 58 is the highest you can get for both stats. As far as Shax's inventory, the chest piece is 2 away from perfect roll, so that's definitely something to look forward to. Check out, see if it's better than what you currently have. For sure. For Zavala, nothing's really a big deal except for the Titan mark, which is a perfect roll. And the last stop for Titans, new marquee for this week, final resting place. Not checking out one either. Hopefully this video helped you out in some way. Thank you so much for being you, and thank you as always for watching. Adios.